Party during the break, so I have no idea. After a 33-year run, The Late Show aired its final broadcast on Thursday night. It drew in 6.7 million viewers and became host Stephen Colbert's most watched weeknight episode on record. And even though he wasn't mentioned at all by name in the episode, President Trump just had to weigh in, posting an AI video of himself on Truth Social, taking Stephen Colbert and throwing him into a dumpster, and then dancing, of course, to the gay anthem YMCA. But this finale, notably, was not about President Trump. And for his last opening monologue, Colbert thanked his team, the audience, while reflecting on the nearly 11 years he has spent as host.
This show, I want you to know and you to know, has been a joy for us to do for you. In fact, we call this show the Joy Machine. We call it the Joy Machine because to do this many shows, it has to be a machine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you choose to do it with joy, it doesn't hurt as much when your fingers get caught in the gears. On night one of the Colbert Report, back in the day, I said, anyone can read the news to you. I promise to feel the news at you. And I realized pretty soon in this job that our job over here was different. We were here to feel the news with you. And I don't know about you, but I sure have felt it.
After a series of surprise celebrity cameos, Colbert brought out none other than the great Paul McCartney as his final guest, a direct callback to the Beatles' first live American TV performance on The Ed Sullivan Show on February 9th, 1964, which launched Beatlemania in the U.S. for decades to come. That performance took place on the very same stage as Colbert's show. In the show's last performance, Colbert and McCartney were joined by Jon Batiste and Elvis Costello as they signed off with a timely rendition of the Beatles' hit, Hello, Goodbye.
You say goodbye when I say hello. Hello, hi. I don't know why you say goodbye. Say hello. Hello, hi.
Joining us now is Bill Carter, editor at large at Late Nighter, and author of 2 books centered on late night TV. An icon. How about that? We'll leave it there. Sir, thank you so much for joining us this morning. One of the things that I have taken away from just this whole, over the last, 4 months of conversation about Stephen Colbert, is that late night has always been political. Johnny Carson, to a certain extent, was even political. What does it mean that utilizing the First Amendment as a late night host in 2026 gets you the door? What does that mean for the rest of us?
It's not a good development for the country, obviously. Certainly the idea that he throws a man in the dumpster at the end of it indicates that he was personally involved. Really, the government was pushing to get rid of this man because he was a critic. And, that is, so alien to our values that I think most Americans, even people who are kind of neutral about Trump, maybe not his strong supporters, know this is not something we do. We don't do that. We don't shut people up because they criticize us. And I think everybody who has a sense of that realizes this was a bad situation that we are going to have to deal with in an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
Bill, I'm wondering if we can get sort of your professional analysis for maybe some of our viewers who might have not been able to stay up till 11:35 p.m. What did you make of his final episode, his message? What was your biggest takeaway? And what do you think he's doing next? Is it OnlyFans? What are you hearing? That was a joke. He made that joke. It's not my joke.
All right. It's his joke. I think he did what he promised at the top of the show. It was a joyful show. He celebrated, the things they did well. There was a lot of energy in the show. He had this kind of cosmic idea about dropping into a wormhole at the end. He brought on his colleagues who are his friends now, his late night Strike Force 5. There was a lot of positive things about it. It felt very positive, and notably, he did not mention Trump. And of course, for the longest time, because he's been such a strong critic, you've heard people say, oh, there's too much politics. He's talking too much about the president. And he didn't do that much. He took a few shots glancingly at CBS for their claim that he was removed for financial purposes, which I think most people now know is just a fig leaf for a political decision made because they needed approval for a merger from the president. And like many other corporations, they capitulated. So I think there was that message in there, but I think basically it was a very positive message. As for what he's going to do, he is not really shown much of an idea. But he's pretty settled, I think, on the fact that he will perform again. But I think he will look for an opportunity that's different. I think he's not going to just do a television show like this again. He was great at it. He was strong at it. He did great. He did a fabulous number in his finale. I think Trump will say it was terrible, probably, but it was really good. I've thrown out the idea, totally my idea, no one else's idea, I don't think, that he could do a one-man show on Broadway, maybe bring back his old character, which I think would be really great.
Bill, let me quote you back to you, an opinion piece that you wrote on May 16th, where you write, enforcing Mr. Colbert out and shutting down a 33-year late-night franchise while selling that post-local news hour of airtime to a syndicated show instead of replacing him with an original program of the network's own creation, CBS is assenting to its own diminishment. The biggest loss is to core American values, such as the right to speak freely, even in brutally mocking terms about those in power. And so I'm thinking it's not just Stephen Colbert's show, but it's also what's happening inside CBS News and what's happening inside the evening news, 60 Minutes, you name it, CBS This Morning. That is the broader diminishment that you're talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, I think CBS, when they capitulated in the lawsuit that Trump filed against 60 Minutes, was sending a signal that they're not going to be the independent journalism outfit that they should be. And then giving up the time, not just giving up Colbert, but wiping out the time period. They basically said, we're not even the same business anymore. We're backing away. We're giving up on this because maybe it would be too hard to hire somebody who wasn't going to make jokes about the president every late night show. And yes, Johnny Carson made a ton of jokes about the president. So it's part of the business of being in comedy that you speak. I always say speak comedy to power. You speak truth to power and you speak comedy to power. And that's what he did. So, I mean, for them to then drop out of it, it does diminish them totally, in my opinion.
Bill Carter, thank you very much for coming to The Weekend.